I don't think anybody would have called it at the beginning of the year, but Inside Out 2, barring some absolute miracle, is going to end the year as the most successful film of 2024. I know this one completely and totally caught me off guard. I was willing to probably give it up. Maybe Dune 2, like Deadpool and Wolverine was going to make some money. Didn't think it would make $1 billion. It's made 1.3. Probably going to end up inching closer to 1.4, maybe 1.5 if they leave it in the theaters long enough. But at 1.6, maybe if they leave it in there through the end of the year or have another re-release around Christmas, Inside Out 2 is the most successful animated film of all time. Not just Disney's biggest film in a long time, but it really is reversing a trend for Pixar specifically. Because you take a look at some of their recent releases and oh my god, it has been catastrophe after catastrophe. You had what? Seeing Red, Lightyear, Elemental, maybe breaking even if you go ahead and, apply the correct tax credits to it. Potentially work out some kind of a licensing agreement. You don't have to do this time around with Inside Out 2. But this is another one of those strange things. For as much as I've seen this out there and as successful as it is, I don't know a damn thing about it. And that's totally fine, okay? It's one of those films that's not made for me. But I also haven't heard the criticism that it's, bad. I've just heard that it's fine. It's good. It's decent. It's a 6 out of 10 kids film. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. It's not festooned with the message. It's not out there trying to push anything. It is a simply inoffensive movie that people can go ahead and trust their kids with. And that's what's made it such a wild success, because the name Disney, the name Pixar is resonant with parents this day and age, because they grew up along the same time that I did during the Disney Renaissance, all the way through Pixar's golden age. Like in animation, that was the gold standard throughout most of my life. Like the Renaissance kicked off with, I think they put it with The Little Mermaid, so that was a year before I was born, and through the golden age of Pixar, like where do you cap that? Cars 2, WALL-E, let's just say 2010. So from 89 to 2010, Disney had it in the bag. Every time that they released something, it was going to be a banger. Might not have been so out of the gate, but in the long term, everybody looked back to it and was like, you know what? That was a quality film. And somewhere along the way, well, we know exactly what happened. They ended up losing their way. Disney got infiltrated. They decided to put activism ahead of animation, and then they paid the price. And it looks like they made a concerted effort with Inside Out 2 this time around, because there's some rumors and there's been some interviews going along from some very weird outlets. Okay, guys, apparently IGN got the scoop on this, because earlier this year, Pixar laid off a fair amount of employees, and 10 of them went to IGN of all places and tried to spin this story about, how Crunch and Pixar was just so dangerous and damaging. It's so funny. It's so funny because these stressful situations in the lead up to the release of either, a film, a TV show, hell, even a game is normally when you hear this nomenclature, crunch, where you just go ahead and work overtime in order to make sure that the final product is as good as it can possibly be. There were people that worked in these industries that were actually passionate about the projects that they were working on, that they knew that crunch was just part and parcel of delivering on their art, and then they did it without really complaining. Now when you have diversity hires that are in there, people that just get churned out by the artistic industrialization process, which I think, allowing people to go and study to get an art degree, one of the most detrimental things to creativity we have ever seen in society, because it just gives, rudderless people an opportunity to go spend a bunch of money, incur a bunch of debt, not really have any purpose in life, but can just simply go out there and get a job and complain their way into a cushy corner office. And that's what Disney is completely and totally staffed with, so that the moment that the axe comes down on these go nowhere, do nothing employees, all they're just going to do is continue to bitch and complain, but at least they're not doing that on the company dime anymore. And the people that want to be there, the people that are actually passionate about animation, will go ahead and put that first instead of their own college indoctrinated nonsense first and foremost. And apparently that's what's happening over here, because we've heard rumors that Marvel, firing hundreds of activist producers, that's happening over at Pixar. You'd love to see it if it's true, but this is also just speculation, because again, here's a rumor. Disney executives stamped out any alleged gay interpretations from Inside Out 2 after Lightyear's box office failure. Now that's a couple years removed, and obviously these Pixar animated features, they're in production for a long time, because it's a very specialized process. So yeah, I guess I got the message loud and clear after that complete and total box office failure? People forget how bad that was. Like, that had Chris Evans. That really drove home the point that Chris Evans is Captain America. He's not a movie star. You better hope that Captain Falcon can't make those payments on the shield so you can go ahead and repossess that by the time Secret Wars comes out, or otherwise you're going to be out of a job for a long time. Lesser Chris. Now, a new rumor claims that Disney and Pixar executives instructed the Inside Out 2 team to remove any possible gay interpretations from Inside Out 2 after Lightyear's box office failure. And well, if this is true, seems that they made the right decision, because Lightyear made what, like less than $200 million, and Inside Out 2 is the most successful animated film of all time. I think we have a winner, kids. A report from IGN's Alex Stedman, which cites multiple anonymous individuals at Disney, which, yeah, link will obviously be provided for this source that I'm using from that park place. But yeah, if you click on this right here, it takes you over to that IGN piece, and it's long and it's boring and it's got a lot of complaining in it. This is just simply the highlights. Feel free to, comb over it if you'd like. Okay, which cites multiple anonymous individuals at Disney, and specifically 10 who were laid off from Pixar earlier this year. Claims that Disney executives blamed the failure of Lightyear on the inclusion of a gay kiss. Well, it was a little bit more than that. I'd have to go back and really brush up on my Lightyear lore, but I think that, there was a gay astronaut family. Like, it was more than just, like a simple gay kiss. Because remember, Rise of Skywalker had a gay kiss, but they made sure that scene was so superfluous they could go ahead and cut that out for Middle Eastern countries based. But yeah, to just simply blame it on a gay kiss, I think that they're kind of reducing things, because it's just, I think that that's more of a symptom rather of a much larger rot. And probably what the executives were saying was, trying to force all of that stuff, all of that, gay relationship stuff into a Disney movie wasn't exactly the best thing. But no, just simply reduce it for a bunch of disgruntled, fired employees. That was the gay kiss. They didn't like that. And I was like, yeah, we understand. Lightyear only grossed $218.7 million. Oh, okay, more profitable than the Marvels. The film had an estimated production budget of over $200 million, one source told Stedman. It is, as far as I know, still a thing where leadership, they'll bring up a Lightyear specifically and say, oh, Lightyear was a financial failure because it had a queer kiss, and it's not the reason the movie failed. Yeah, see, that's where I kind of doubt that, because what executive is saying queer kiss? Let's keep it a buck. You're changing some verbiage there. Despite the sources' claim, Disney executives instructed Pixar to make Inside Out 2 less gay, Stedman writes. Sources describe rumors that there was special care put into making the relationship between Riley and Val, a supporting character introduced in Inside Out 2, seem as platonic as possible. Wow, male and intrasexual friendships. What a weird concept to a bunch of these activists, because the only time that they're friends with something and that they don't want to rub their genitals together with them is if they're one of their cats that are just forced into their, one-bedroom apartments and they can't leave. The idea that you could just simply have friends, that's such a foreign concept to them, because nobody can stand being in a room with them. Yeah. Even requiring edits to the lighting and tone of certain scenes to remove any trace of romantic chemistry. Because these are those freaks that it's like, oh, that was totally coded queer. Same thing that they try to do, with revisionist history in regards to Sam and Frodo. It's like, holy crap, man. Like, the concept of friends is just so foreign to them. One source told him that Pixar did a lot of extra work to make sure that no one would potentially see them as not straight. Yeah, I don't think that they really thought about it that much. It was just more or less like, stop with that and knock it off with that gay shit. Nobody likes that. Just you bunch of freaks, and if you don't like it, well, you're going to get fired. And guess what? Oopsie daisy, the people that continue to bring it up, they got fired. While Disney allegedly provided instructions to remove any gay implications, one source made it clear that Riley is not gay. Mind you, Riley is not canonically gay in the film. What she saw, nothing about Riley says that she is gay, but you were trying to make it, apparently. Because if just dumbass executives could pick up on, what's with that romantic music? What's with the lighting? Okay, well, what's with those longing stares? You'll fix that shit, because it failed over there with Lightyear. Okay, we're not gonna be running that back again. Okay, and so that is something that they tried to play down in multiple points. They should not be surprised, given Pixar released a short titled Riley's First Date back in 2015. You think that they'd actually be truthful to their canon? Be faithful to the lore? I don't really think so. Where she goes on a date with a boy named Jordan. Yeah, I don't care. It appears this strategy of stamping out any kind of gayness in the film, if true, worked extraordinarily well for Pixar and Disney. The film grossed $652.5 million domestically, another billion internationally for, yes, a $1.67 billion best performing animated film of all time that nobody potentially seen coming. But also, Disney could kind of learn from this situation, because there was not, okay, unless they had some internal metrics that I just, was not aware of, that showed that this film was wildly anticipated. All of the hype was completely and totally off the charts. I didn't see any marketing for this. I didn't see any hype. If anybody was looking at the release schedule for 2024, looking at potential billion-dollar films, Despicable Me 4, Kung Fu Panda 4, the year of the sequel, prequel, remake, nobody was really looking forward to Inside Out 2. The fact that it made so much money also lets you know that families really want to like Disney. They really want to like Pixar. And if they just simply stay out of the personal politics realm, they will be rewarded. We'll have to see what the future holds, because we got a Mufasa film at the end of the year, which is, oh boy, that's going to be something, huh? So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.